My favorite things I've ever done are episode 6 and episode 8 of anything. I just can't wait for people to see that.
All right, Peacemaker fans, here we go. One episode to go, and then season 2 is complete, and Man of Tomorrow prep begins. It's been a wild ride of a season so far, with the ups and the downs, and the 11th Street kids all trying to discover who they are and where they belong in this world. Will Hardcore get back in with Argus? Is Peacemaker going to be a hero or not? And Red saying Wild is dead. It's been a lot of fun this season. I don't know how it's going to end yet, but we're here to do the pregame show, the preview for episode 8. All the story threads are going to come to a head now. And I think in a lot of ways they did in episode 7. Episode 7 was kind of the end of a lot of the season, right? Like episode M, the Earth X stuff, that all seemed to wrap up. Now, we'll get right into Keith right away because there's a lot of speculation online that Keith is going to come through the portal and attack and go after Chris Smith, Peacemaker, his pseudo brother. And I do think that will happen, but I do not think that is going to be in episode 8. I think episode 7 was the end of Keith in this season, potentially the series as well, if there's not a season 3 of it. But I think that's it. I think Keith's storyline is over. And if you watch the podcast following the show, James Gunn kind of said this was Keith's origin story. This was his origin story. So I do think that that's where they're going to leave it. I don't think he's going to come back for one episode and do what? Like just get knocked out in one episode. There's going to be more to it. This episode is going to be bigger and broader. And I think a lot more Argus heavy than what we had so far. Because Argus has been a big part of this season. So for it all to wrap up, we still have to get to Argus and what they really truly want with the QUC, which remains to be seen. So Keith, I think he's done. I think that whole storyline is going to be pushed aside for a while. Now, that being said, if we get more Peacemaker in the future, it's an if, I think Keith could be a good antagonist for Peacemaker. I think, look, they're on the same level. They don't have superpowers. They're brothers, pseudo brothers, I guess. And so I think that would be a really intriguing villain for a character like Christopher Smith to have in the future. But I think right now, I think that storyline is over. We're going to move on and moving on to the QUC and what Argus actually wants out of the QUC. Another big theory is that it's all about Rick Flag Sr. looking for his son, Rick Flag Jr., because his son obviously was killed by Peacemaker in our dimension, and he's going to be looking for another version of his son somewhere else, which we know exists on Earth X. I don't think this one's going to play out either. I do not think this is the purpose that Rick Flag Sr. has for the QUC. I said this on the Trailer Breakdown show a few days ago. I think Rick Flag Sr., for all of his misguidedness that he is, I don't think he's a villain. I think he wants to do the right thing, but he's misguided and he's really going to sever the universe a little. But so I think he's there, but I don't think he's going to use his power just to find his dead son. I don't think he is selfish like that. I think there's something bigger at play here. I think he knows it, and I think if you've seen the trailer, I think Sasha Bordeaux knows it, and I don't think she's very happy with what's going on with Argus. I have another video about what I think might become of Argus. You can check that out. So I think there's a lot more going on than just trying to find Rick Flag Jr. It's not about that. He's not selfish enough for that. I think there are parts of him that are obviously selfish. I think all of us have parts like that, but I don't think he's going to put this much energy into just finding Rick Flag Jr., especially when everyone knows he could just go to Earth. I mean, he doesn't know, but he could easily find out. You can go to Earth X and just grab him from there if you wanted. And why would another dimension's Rick Flag Jr. want to come into our dimension, to Earth 1 dimension, or whatever they're calling it? I mean, of course, there could be Rick Flag Sr. is dead and whatever, but I just don't know how that would work. And again, I don't think that's something that Rick Flag would do, and I don't think that would help the story whatsoever. Like, he needs to come to terms with his son's passing, and I think he has. He just wants vengeance and revenge on Christopher Smith. But he did say a few episodes ago that he was just kind of using that as a ploy to get to Peacemaker, to find the QUC. So I think it's really been all about the QUC for a bigger purpose than just finding his son and getting revenge on his son's murder. Let's talk about the title of this episode, Full Nelson, which can mean a few things, but let's break it down, what it could mean, what it actually does mean, and what it might mean pertaining to this episode. All of the episodes have kind of had puns on it, right? Plays on words, names for a lot, like a Keith in the Night, for instance. Another Rick up my sleeve. There's been a lot of name drops in the titles. Is this another one of those? Let's find out. Look, first of all, we got to talk about what a full Nelson actually is. It's a wrestling hold where one opponent traps both of another's arms under their own and locks their hands behind the neck, completely controlling the other person's movement. And there's an actor on the show who knows these very well. the symbolic meanings that could fit into Peacemaker, specifically where we are right now. It could obviously mean imprisonment and loss of control. Christopher Smith could literally or metaphorically be in a full Nelson, restrained by the system or by his guilt. So we know he's behind bars, but there's also the guilt aspect, and he calls himself the Angel of Death in the trailer. And then finally, this is the one that I think a lot of fans are hoping for or on the path of, and that is connection to Dr. Fate. Dr. Fate's helmet Naboo possesses the wearer, which in a way is a full Nelson of itself and of the soul. And of course, Dr. Fate's name is Kent Nelson. So there's that. If Gunn is teasing Dr. Fate, the title might foreshadow that kind of possession or inner dimension. If you're playing with the QUC in other dimensions, Dr. Fate can work in, and I've said this before, Dr. Fate is a character that for me fits right in with James Gunn's style. I think it's a character that James Gunn would have a lot of fun with. I don't know if we're going to get that, but it's someone that kind of aligns with it. Again, I don't know for sure. Like, there's nothing has told me up in this point that we're going to get Dr. Fate. Tomorrow night, though, I should bring out Wednesday night, we'll have the final odds show where we'll go through all this with the Vegas odds, and we'll talk about it then. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you can stay tuned to that. That'll be tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern. The thing that was really cool with this trailer was it had Peacemaker in prison at the beginning and then nowhere else to be seen, right? It was mostly about Argus going through the 99 other dimensions, Candyland and Skull World and all that. And who is that figure on the leg of the spider in Skull World? I want to know who that is. I can't pinpoint it right now. I don't know. There could be so many possibilities of who that is, but that's somebody, I'm telling you. But we see all of that. So most of the focus was on that, on Argus doing this. And we saw the Sasha Bordeaux talking to Hardcore. Something's going on there. I think we might get a Batman name drop into this. What I'm thinking, a Batman name drop. I don't think we're going to get Batman, but a Batman, Bruce Wayne, maybe name drop in this episode. We're going to learn a lot more about these other dimensions and what's going on. And that's going to lead to the Man of Tomorrow, which everyone is guessing Brainiac is going to be the one to play here. I have a video about Brainiac because of course I do, because of course we're all suspecting Brainiac. But James Gunn might be ready to pull the rug from right under us. He might be saying like, nope, it's not Brainiac. It wasn't Brainiac all along. Now, I do suspect it will be Brainiac. I don't think he's going to just show up. I don't think this episode is going to be like, I'm Brainiac, I'm the big bad, come and fight me. And he's going to fly off into space and Superman's going to be like, I'm coming for you. And then to be continued in Man of Tomorrow, James Gunn has said that the DCU, while all connected, are all going to be separate stories. So he doesn't want you to do your homework for each one. And I have friends who have watched season 2 of Peacemaker who have zero interest in seeing Superman at all. They're just like, no, I don't want to watch it. They haven't asked me what happens in Superman. There's been no communication about that whatsoever. And they've enjoyed Peacemaker season 2 for the most part. They haven't had any confusion with it at all. I think they thought season 1's better so far, but they've been enjoying season 2. They haven't had any questions about the interdimensional rifts, about Lex Luthor. There's nothing. They just kind of accept it. Like, I think he's done a good job of just being like, if this is what you're watching, this is what you're watching. Man of Tomorrow is going to be a sequel to Superman in a lot of ways, but it won't be to Peacemaker, but it will have connective tissues with Peacemaker, where if you've seen Peacemaker, you're going to appreciate what you're getting in Man of Tomorrow a lot more. But if you haven't seen Peacemaker, you can still watch and appreciate the movie for what it is. It's not going to be a necessity to know what's going on. So I think we're going to get the lead up to what we're getting in Man of Tomorrow, but it's not going to be crucial in a lot of ways. Like, I think whatever they do, they'll be able to sum up and really quickly in Man of Tomorrow. But that leads us to what the hell is going on, because there's one big question from episode 7 that I haven't seen many people talk about. And I want to ask James Gunn this question. Maybe I should go on Threads and ask him. And Auggie Smith in episode 2, I believe it was, our Auggie Smith guns down an alien imp thing and steals the QUC from it. But in Earth X, Auggie has the QUC there as well. And he says to Keith, if Peacemaker, if the incorrect Peacemaker tells anybody they have that interdimensional thing, that they're screwed. He doesn't say screwed, but they're screwed. My question is, how did they get the QUC on Earth X? Because Auggie Smith there definitely would not have gunned down an alien, an imp, to get it. He wouldn't have done that. It would have to have been given to him, handed to him. Why would it have been handed to him? How could it have been handed to him? I have a few thoughts on it. One, I think Brainiac, if it is Brainiac, I think Brainiac's been in control of this stuff from day one. Like, I think it's been all Brainiac all the time. The other one, and everyone's bringing this up as well, is Orion and the dark side connection, and what could that mean, and how could Auggie have gotten it? And I think it could be a play by all of them. In DC lore, Orion's astral harness already channels fourth world synergy, the source. The QUC could have been designed to tap into that same source frequency. a vibration between chaos, apocalypse, and order, New Genesis. That makes the QUC something more than science. It's an artificial bridge to divine technology. And James Gunn has said, he was asked this question from Prince J0625. Looks like who or whatever made the QUC is smart, even smarter than Lex Luthor. Interesting. And James Gunn said, definitely advanced, non-human. I went to Brainiac right away on that. That's where my head went. But then you start thinking about this, the New Gods, Orion, and then what Auggie Smith said about nobody can find out about it, and then our Auggie Smith having it. And what if our Auggie Smith was never meant to have it? And what if the helmets of Peacemaker were never meant to be for our Peacemaker? And what if Auggie Smith from our dimension was swiping those ones away and taking them for his own? He seemed to know what he was doing. There's more advancement there. So that's why I think that the Orion stuff, I think is there, and I think it is a seed, but I don't think it's fully fleshed out in a way yet. I think Brainiac, though, is the true pathway of where we're heading right now, but I do like this setup. This tech could be repurposed, fragments of fourth world weaponry stolen in our dimension, accidentally received in theirs, or vice versa, who knows? Or it could even just be kind of like a mother box. It could be any of those. I don't know what the play is. Like, again, for me, Darkseid, you don't get to Darkseid right away. You wait some time, but I think you plant the seeds now. I think you do it smart and you plant the seeds. Like Thanos showed up at some point in the MCU years before, a decade almost before he became the big bad. And I think with Darkseid, you have like a presence there, and then eagle-eyed fans that are out there will be like, Darkseid, all right, like So I think that's where they're gonna go. Brainiac, again, I keep going back to Brainiac because it just seems so obvious, but that's, again, I said this yesterday, that could be why it's not gonna be Brainiac. And that leaves us with Peacemaker locked up in prison. What will his ultimate fate be? Many fans speculating in the comments that he is going to perish, that he is going to die. And it has been noted, and you can see it in the opening, everybody ends tired and laying on top of each other. When that opening first was released, the cast was asked about that and said, well, in the first season we were all out of breath, and in this one we thought, what if we just passed out? That was what they were telling us, which sounds phony now when you start looking at it. Like, maybe death is coming for everyone. The only thing is, we know that Rick Flag Sr. is going to be a Man of Tomorrow, so it wouldn't quite make sense for him to be dead in this also. But you never know. Maybe everybody perishes in this. Maybe something drastic happens. Maybe it is Infinity War level stuff happening at the end of this, and we do lose everybody. A Man of Tomorrow is about gaining everybody back. Fixing this problem that saw everybody shut out or something. I don't think, again, because it's a TV show leading into movie, I don't think you can do that. But you never know. It might happen. I guess crazier things have happened. I just don't, especially a rated R show that kids can never watch. Like, you're going to go into Married Tomorrow and be like, everyone's gone. And the kids, like, you could set it up, but I think kids would be like, well, I want to see that. That sounds awesome. Because it would sound awesome, and it would be awesome. And Infinity War, when they all started vanishing, was awesome. That's just what it is. So I don't think we're going to get that. I think Peacemaker's going to die. Look, there's a chance. James Gunn won't say there's a season 3 coming. He says you'll see some of these characters in other series, not necessarily Peacemaker season 3. So I don't know. I just, you kill Peacemaker. You give him like a little fun cameo in Superman just to kill him off in this. I don't think it's going to happen. People have brought up Peace Wrecker coming in. I guess that could play out. I don't think Harcourt will take on the mantra of Peace Wrecker, though, because of her comments for the costumes earlier and what James Gunn has said in interviews after regarding that. I just don't think that's going to happen. So maybe Peace Wrecker, but what would be like, if he becomes back as Peace Wrecker, let's say they retcon Peace Wrecker and they just make it Peacemaker, but now I'm Peace Wrecker for whatever reason, I think that would be a symbolic death more than an actual death. And maybe that's what we're going to get. Maybe it will be symbolic. Because again, I still think that this series is going to have to wrap up where everybody kind of finding out who they are. And in that trailer, if you remember, they're all the MCU kids are kind of bundling up money. And some pictures now came out where you can see them grabbing the money. They don't look as happy in the pictures, though. Adebayo and Adrian don't look as happy in those pictures, so we'll see. The pictures don't show much, and they're not going to show much. It's mostly just Argus doing Argus stuff and Adebayo and Adrian taking money. Some of the pictures released, we got Harcourt in an office talking. Maybe she's talking to Sasha Bordeaux in this one. Peacemaker in prison. There's your Angel of Death looking up at something, probably a countdown, some kind of calendar on the wall. Who knows? Something's going on with him. I don't know. Like, that's the best part of this is I don't know where he's going. Love the shoes, though. It looks very comfortable Frank Grillo, Rick Flag Sr. dominating Argus. He's up to something, man. Something. Good intentions. The road to hell was paved in good intentions. And this is the one that actually caught my attention the most. It's Bordeaux and Economos. And now, okay. So on the first time I saw this, I thought actually nothing of it. But then you think of the trailer, the sit down that Bordeaux has with Harcourt, and there's nobody with them. Is it empty? Are they alone here after hours? Are they looking for something against Argus? Has Bordeaux completely turned on Flag Senior? We know how Economos feels based on his lines about how they've never done anything for the good of the people. There's something up here. So what is the end game? And are they going to confront Argus and maybe find out the real master plan? This is going to be the longest episode to date. It's going to be over 57 minutes, whatever that means. So it's going to be under 60, but over 57. So my review of it will be quite late. But I think it's going to be action-packed. It should be start to finish. James Gunn has promised that this is going to be the most insane episode of Peacemaker we've ever gotten. Look, insanity doesn't mean good necessarily, but I think it will be good. I think it's going to be a strong ending. And he did say he pitched this story to Zaslav as kind of how he got the job, right? This was part of how he got the job, was he had this idea, and this episode 8, was the catalyst into the DCU. So I'm very excited to see where we're getting from there. I'll be back tomorrow, like I said, with the odds show. I can't wait for that one. That one's going to be a lot of fun. Like, what's going to happen? Who's going to die? What are we going to see? But this is the pregame show, man. We got one episode to go. I can't believe the time is ticking and we're running out of time. But James Gunn does release his curated playlist every week, so let's take a look at the songs, and there's a lot of them for this week's episode. Oh Lord, Foxy Shazam. Opening song, always. The next one is Effing My Heart in the Ass, Steel Panther. It's outrageous, comedic, but surprisingly melodic. It mocks heartbreak and excess. We're Not Gonna Take It, the 2016 acoustic version. That's important, it's the acoustic version. D. Snyder. The stripped-down acoustic version transformed the rebellious anthem into something bitter-sweet. There seems to be a theme here. Only My Heart Talkin', Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper, awesome. Our dramatic rock ballad about letting emotion override logic. To Get Back to You, Nelson. Full Nelson. 90s soft rock yearning for reconciliation. And Reckoning by the Cruel Intentions, hard rock aggression mixed with cathartic self-awareness. The use of this song could be a climatic battle or escape scene where Peacemaker faces the consequences of everything he's done. The title and tone scream final showdown. This could be the big breakout for Peacemaker or whatever breaks out of the dimension and scares all of Argus to death. Could be. I can't wait to see what comes out of there. Some theories are suggesting there's going to be a zombie dimension. Bring it. I think, look, James Gunn, I think he's going to go zany, and we're going to get some, like, I think the skeleton spiders are the tip of the psychotic iceberg of what we're about to get, and I can't wait. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. Hit the like button and subscribe button. Until next time, may you be the master of your own universe.